Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, halfway through my week. Today's theme is how to use the world's resources to sustain your life. And this one's a pretty good one that you could become a hypocrite. For example, I would love to say that I gardened and I got all of my winter vegetables canned and put up for the winter, and that if worse came to worse, I could sustain myself on things that I've grown and things that I've made, etc. I would love to be able to say that, but it's not what's real. I can't. We have to go to the grocery store every week. If we didn't go to the grocery store every week, we would not eat. I mean, yeah, I've done some dehydrating, but in reality, if you took all four of us and the stuff that I've dehydrated, we could maybe eat a week. Maybe. We eat a lot of stuff. And the reality is that all of us use resources that are not local. My phone, the phone that I'm talking to you on, is not a local resource. It's not made here. It's not sustained here. It is something that is made far away, wherever Apple phones come from. The materials are mined in villages in Africa and South America and put together probably in Mexico or India. And this phone all by itself probably created a great deal of carbon waste, and people were not paid fair wage for it. I mean, just the phone itself is an example of how we in our modern era are not self-sustaining. We're not. And to pretend otherwise, well, you're fooling yourself. And I think it's important to be honest with ourselves about what we consume and what we give back. For example, the work that I do every day, it doesn't really contribute to anything. I don't make something that is valuable that sustains my local economy. I don't. And a lot of us don't. Some of us have jobs that sustain a world economy or maybe contribute to a world economy. Vilef, he makes guitars that feed a world economy. I don't do that. His resources come from all the way around the world. If one of those supply lines is cut short, he would not be able to produce that product. We have our economy, and the way our world is has become global. My food that I eat, some of it comes from Mexico, some of it comes from organic farms locally, some of it comes from organic farms in Oregon, some of it comes from California, some of it comes from the Midwest, some of it comes from South America. You know, we do not live. It's very difficult for someone to be in a self-sustained local economy, to truly live that way. There are people who do. I don't happen to be one of them. Maybe one day I'll get there, maybe, but maybe not. And I think it's important for each of us as a spiritual person that is trying to look at our impact on the world and the reality of how we impact our world. It's important to understand all of these factors. Okay, so it's been driving me crazy the whole time I've been sitting here. The frames in the background in this video are plastic and glass and made probably in China or India or somewhere else. Probably the only recycled item in the picture is the red cushion behind my shoulder. And that red fabric came from a house that there was a box of fabric in the attic when I moved in back in 97. And that cushion is the only remnant of all of the things that I had made out of that fabric. And that's a long time ago, 97. It's like 20 years ago. Everything else is not. Nothing else is. So think about your impact and the resources that you draw on to sustain your life. Be real about it. I think probably one of the things that happens in spirituality, or people that want to be spiritual, or people who want to be or have this ideal of what spiritual is. I can think of somebody right off the top of my head that is a friend of mine and I adore. Vegan, vegetarian, a really sweet person, but not realistic in what sustains that person's life and what impacts does that person have on the community, and how a particular lifestyle is actually harming and can be harmful to themselves and to others. So, what are the resources of the world? And how do you use the world's resources to sustain your life? How do you do that? And how do you do it in a smart way, in a conscientious manner, in a mindful manner that is smart? I'm a big proponent in recycling. Always have been. But be smart in your recycling. I've also been a proponent of as much natural fibers in your clothing as possible. There's some research that's being done that's saying that our use of synthetic fabrics is harming our environment. I've also been a long-time proponent of getting away from fragrances and perfumes and chemicals that create chemical sensitivity for people, and there's some research being done as to what other harmful effects it causes in the body. Always, always, always weigh what you can do and what you can contribute versus the functionality of your life. One of these days, my schedule is going to, and my life is going to be in a place where I can grow a garden again, and I can can things, and I can dehydrate, and I can prepare and start that cycle for myself. It's just not here today. So today's prayer. Shield of souls, I place myself in your protective silence. May we meet heart to heart. To you I dedicate the unfolding acts of this day. Creative teacher of my soul, I awaken to new thresholds this autumn day. Before I set forth, help me explore the question of the day in the mellow rays of the sun's encircling. May I be on guard against complacency. May I rejoice and celebrate the happiness of the season, which is life's rich gift. May all who are in sorrow and grieving find solace in the richness of autumn's bounty. May the holy ones bless and keep those safe who are fighting the fires. May the holy ones keep and bless those and keep them safe, all who are fighting a heroic battle against depression, and help them find solace and spirit and the community of their friends and family. The fires are still going really strong. The smoke is really strong here today. My nose is running. Sorry. Keep safe, people. Take some time away from electronics and be mindful of your use of the world's resources in your life. And they talk a lot about sustainability now. Look at what it is that you have in your life and what you what you sustain yourself on. You know, I always think back of that. My grandma had a nut, one of those jars that has a wheel on it and you crush nuts. And it came from her mom from the Great Depression. And some of those things that we've replaced with all these other things that we don't need. I know somebody who had a colander in my family, who had a colander for like 50 years. You don't have to replace everything. Some things last for a long time. Anyway, I kind of rambled there. I hope you all have a beautiful day. I've got to get going. And I will see you tomorrow in prayer. Blessed be.